Welcome
Big
back.
boobs.
Penis.
TNA.
You
Vagina
couldn't
boob.
resist, could you?
Well, I mean, we are talking TNA.
Right, yeah. Lockdown Tits and Ass 08. Wait a minute. Wrong movie.
Scarlet Bordeaux in a cage. TNA, or for those of you in Mexican, Totalmente Nacional Acción. Oh, yeah.
That's not what it stands for.
Hey, you don't know Spanish.
¿Qué?
Okay?
No.
Sí.
What?
Anyways, episode 142.
Hola!
142. Apologies. Fucking Windows can be a bitch when it comes to upgrading this shit. So, for the meantime, I'm on my phone until I finally get my laptop running going.
El hombre Ricardo, ¿te gusta ginger fucking mahal?
James,
I can't speak Spanish.
you go fucking Mahal on your video. I was like, please, Jay, please do Jinder fucking Mahal.
That's your thing. That's your thing.
Here. Yeah, that's my thing.
Ocho.
I mean, I did say, like, of all the champions, he's probably at the bottom, but
Yeah.
if you want to know more, check out my channel.
But anyways, so yeah,
Anyway,
episode
why?
142 of the Shadow Kvlt. So we're back to the original format after we had the wild game night last week.
Which was fun.
Where Terry Funk decided to sing the fucking
Who was the
Rude
real
Show.
All American boys.
All of
And
you.
I'm the victor. I was the victor.
Ugh.
He's the champion for now.
Kinda.
Mm.
You won by proxy.
He
There's nothing about that. I'm sorry. There's nothing about that game that you win by skill.
No, it's all
all
luck.
luck.
It's a card
It's
game.
all
There's
bull-
no such
So he's the
thing.
luck.
Card games are all luck.
Yes.
It's all
Exactly.
AI.
You can count cards.
It's a work.
It's a
work.
It's all
All
work.
work.
It's all a work.
It's all a work.
And it's bad for you.
It's scripted.
It's bad for you.
A work is like bullshit. It's bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so
Speaking
yeah.
of works
Don't
and
do
speaking
drugs.
of bullshit,
Takes over.
So yeah, tonight we are talking the 15th anniversary of TNA Lockdown 2008. So
God damn. 15 years?
I
Shit.
know, it does not feel like it's been that long. But yeah, TNA Lockdown 2008 from the Tongass Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts, with an attendance of 5,500 people, which was actually the most attended show TNA had in 2008. And this was really the year when they started really going to more places outside the impact zone for pay-per-views. So
Mm-hmm.
They were really
Yep.
starting to expand.
they were starting
at
to
this
expand
point.
at this
Yeah.
point. So yeah, 5,500 most attended show of the year, and shut up, Jericho. And
hey Jericho, I got a question. Where was your wife on January 6th?
Yeah, and her
who
mother
cares?
too.
Who cares? Anyways, and then with pay-per-view buys of 55,000, the most bought pay-per-view of 2007, and up to this point, tied for the most bought pay-per-view in TNA history. Well, second most.
Yep,
With
second
TNA
most.
Bound for Glory 2006, with the highest being Genesis 06, 60,000.
But
yeah,
gee,
this-
I wonder why this was so high in pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I
we got a
wonder
couple
why,
of
though.
big matches on this card. But before we get to those big matches, quick little summary about this show. It was better than the 2007 event, but not by much.
No,
Well,
Because
okay,
they didn't
to be
have an
fair,
electrified cage match and a blindfold in a cage match.
This show did not have two of the worst matches in company history.
True.
In
Just by that
2008
alone.
In
Mhm.
2008, they were really starting to get a lot of momentum. Like, they were getting really, really, really up there. And not to mention, you have some of the new up-and-coming stars. Like, you have, like, the X Division really starting to show. And Samoa Joe's momentum. Kurt Angle's still putting on really good matches. And, some, like, up-and-coming talents really starting to shine through. And it was a really damn good year. Like, in terms of, like, pay-per-view quality, despite a few hiccups, 08, I thought was a really damn good year for TNA.
It's like that 05 through about 09. TNA was at its absolute peak.
Yep.
And
09 was a bit shaky in some spots. Victory Road, anyone?
Well, that's the tail end of the good times. So yes, every expansion has a deformation that comes with it. So
yeah.
But with all that said, let's talk about this card. So we got 8 matches, every one of them inside 6 sides of steel, of course, with the theme of the show. And we kick things off. I
gotta say that promo package at the very beginning, kind of cool though. Gotta say, pretty cool.
I forgot who it was. A guy who worked for WWE.
David Sahadi.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, he did all those classic promo video packages back in the 90s. When he left, he went straight to TNA and did some amazing shit there.
But we kick things off with the first of 3, or actually no, the first of 2 championship matches of the night. For the X Division Championship, we have a 6-man escape match. We have champion Jay Lethal versus challengers Curryman, Shark Boy, Consequences Creed, Johnny Devine, and Sanjay Dutt. So, yeah, for an escape match, it was a good match. Good opener to get things going.
Yeah, pretty good opening match to start the crowd going.
Yep, gets the crowd going. You got Daniels out there doing Curryman, which was great to see in America finally after so many years. Because he's hot, he's spicy, he tastes great, and he's Ichiban.
Konnichiwa!
Konnichiwa! He would just say wrestlers' names.
Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Kobashi Kenta, Akiyama Jun,
Misawa, Mitsuharu.
Only Daniels can make a gimmick as
I won contract for fire championship. No, you're actually fired. No, it's contract for fire championship.
So good at that stuff.
Yeah.
And
remember the story that he told where when he first was doing the character in Japan, he desperately looked for somebody in the Japanese locker room. Someone eat me on my arm. And I forgot who was wrestling, but he got in the ring. This, like I said, was first starting to do the character. He got in there, looked at his one, went yeah, and the other guy's crying out the crack so hard. And to get a Japanese wrestler to break takes a lot. It was damn close. The video pictures out there of this, but it's like brilliant because remember originally he was doing it almost like Apu from The Simpsons. When he was, this is on the shoot interview we did with our video years ago. But he said, "That's what's the original idea of the character." And I forgot who told him in the back was like, "Stop doing that. Be a heel." He's, "Oh, okay." And then he just started being like the cocky heel and started doing the dance and he had the spice rack, spicy drop finish and everything, and just being
and the dance.
Yep, don't forget the dance.
Oh, the dance!
Gotta have a dance.
The dance sold it. I mean, the dance just made it even fucking better.
Yeah.
Only Daniels can get a character as over as Curryman did. Only Daniels can do that.
Your mask have food. He's like, great, I got food on my head. He's like, what he finally got? What was the conversation? He spoke to a Japanese wrestler who was speaking to the man who made the mask, who spoke Spanish and very bad Japanese. And the Japanese wrestler spoke very bad English. So Daniels is trying to get from these two guys, what is going on with this? Because it was the mask tournament they did every year in Japan. And I think it was for, I think it was Michinoku Pro. And so they, he gets the mask. What is this? He's talking to him. He talks to him. And that's where he said, your mask have food. It's like, great, I got fucking food on my head. What the hell? He's like, what is this? It's a dish. What's in it? Curry and rice. He's like, what? What's the name of it? Karema. What the fuck is Karema? Because he couldn't communicate it properly. He's like, Curry man. Like, oh, okay. All right. And then...
Mil disculpas a cualquier mexicano que habla japonés no también, nomás para decirle ahí sí.
And the team of Curryman and Shark Boy were amazing.
Perfect.
Oh, and Eric Young, aka Super Eric, was it
the Prince Justice Brotherhood? The Prince Justice Brotherhood, which is a hidden joke about Abyss, because he had that name Prince Justice at one point in his career. So it was like a nod to Chris Park.
They would always do that with TNA, like the board with nails Janice, named after Dixie's mother.
Yeah. But also, yeah, and then Creed, a very young Xavier Woods, only 20 at this point.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
before
insane.
allegedly doing naughty stuff with Paige. Allegedly.
No, it's not allegedly.
Yeah, no, it's not allegedly.
There's video evidence
Why
out
is
there,
this title
people.
sticky?
But
Yeah,
it is
Creed
weird
back
seeing
then. Wow.
Creed 15 years earlier and see where he is right now.
The motherfucker's on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
His throw was
He still looks the
amazing.
same.
Yep.
Sorta.
Yeah.
In about 15 years from now, he'll look the exact
He'll look the
same.
same.
Yes, he will.
Our truth.
He has the Bobby
Another example.
Lashley effect. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Our truth is the
God,
same he did 20
yeah,
years ago.
Bobby's what, close to 60? He looks
Yep.
like fucking
50.
30?
Close to
Close
50.
to 50,
50.
yeah.
He's in his
Gee.
40s.
Don't age him too much.
Yeah,
Although
Ricky.
50, 60, 100, he'd still kick your ass
Booker
for
T
real.
still looks good.
Mhm.
It still looks amazing, you know? God.
But yeah,
This
and
match,
good opener.
Good.
match.
Good opener.
Good opening
And-
match.
And in the
Solid.
end, Jay Lethal retains the X Division title in 10 minutes, 45 seconds.
And it's
Now-
kind of funny how after this, like a couple months later, he would have his relationship with SoCal Val, and then Sanjay Dutt has to feud with them,
Yeah, that.
and it ends in the lovely Ladder of Love match, where the prize is the
joy.
ring.
Oh, Russo.
Yep.
Vince Russo has struck again.
hmm
but he's
Vince
not.
Oh, we're gonna
Russo,
talk
the
about.
all-cage
I'm gonna talk.
stipulation.
I'm gonna talk about more with Russo here in a little bit.
Oh, here we
Believe
go.
you and me.
Aren't we all?
Oh, God.
All right, but
I think when
Nope.
Russo was writing the show,
Ah,
the TNA was getting more viewers than they'd ever gotten. So
It's not necessarily for good things.
hey, they're still getting more
I'll
viewers than they
talk-
are today.
James, just stop.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I'm gonna get there.
We'll get
Trust
there.
me. All right, but moving on to match number 2, it's the Queen of the Cage match to determine a number 1 contender to the Knockouts Championship. We have Angelina Love, Christy Hemme, Jackie Moore, Raka Khan, Salinas, Roxy Laveau, Tracy Brooks, and Velvet Sky. Pretty much a match to get all the ladies on the show, and it was there.
Yeah.
It was just
If
there.
the X Division have one, the women got to have one as well.
Right.
And then we
Yeah.
see one with the tag later on. Which
Right.
We'll get to that.
Everyone had to have one. This was
Yeah.
okay. Once you got Angelina and Roxy in the ring, that was it. It's like
hmm
it was like 2 matches in once. You know, all right, all
the
ladies
others
do
were-
your
Yeah, it was
shit,
like
and then-
Roxy and Angelina
back on
going
that
at it, and
back.
everybody else just doing their own thing.
Back when Angelina can actually contribute to wrestling in some sort, and Roxy, I felt like Roxy was kind of
Roxy is underrated. Very
Oh, Nikki
underrated.
rocks, man. She's
because they got
wonderful.
her
Yeah.
away from the Voodoo Kim Mafia, VKM. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it?
Yeah, we don't.
Oh.
When
we
she
get it.
was
We
the
don't
whole
like it.
Voodoo Queen, which kind of worked in some ways, but it really
It's just
And
wasn't.
it
weird
was,
they gave her that
it was just a
gimmick because
weird
in-
character.
In
Yeah.
Shimmer, she was Nikki Rocks, and everyone loved her. She token baby face. She was a great worker, great attitude too. She became a like a physical therapist. We almost had her booked on one of my shows years ago. My wife talked to her about trying to get her on, but she was double booked that day. But
And this
she
was
a sweetheart.
and this was tail end of that Voodoo character, because that character would be dropped a month later at Sacrifice when she had that head shave and she bled
shave,
from getting
yeah.
hit hard way with the ladder, and then becoming
Then
the
she-
hardcore knockout where she would bleed all the time.
Bleed and swear.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty much the female John Moxley, sorta.
at the
Maybe.
time, yeah.
Of that
At the time.
unfortunately.
At the
Yeah.
time.
But in the end, Roxy defeated everybody in 5 minutes 30 seconds to get a title shot. Speaking of the Voodoo Kin Mafia, that brings us to match number 3.
The New Age
VKM
Outlaws
Explode! BG versus Kip. I just have one question. Why?
At
¿Por
this
qué,
point,
Dios? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Parquet.
WWE tried it a decade earlier and it didn't work.
Didn't work there either. Yep.
And it didn't work here at all either. No
You never
reason to
wanna
ever
see-
split them.
No, you never wanted to see the Hardy Boys work against each other. You didn't want to see Road Dogg and Billy Gunn against each other. You didn't, it just no. It seems like it's just it's by the numbers booking, but it just doesn't work.
There could be some instances where, like, a good tag team that's split up and face each other can work. Look at the Hart brothers.
Edge and Christian.
The Hart
Owen and Brett.
The Hart brothers. Marty and Sean, the Rockers.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in this case, at this point in 2008,
technically, Kane and Undertaker for like 2 matches, and then everything else can go piss off.
But in this case, in 2008, nobody wanted to see Road Dogg and Billy Gunn face each other one-on-one.
No.
I don't think no one wanted to see Road Dogg in general. Everyone loves Billy, but Road Dogg just never... He was always a good talker, but he was never a great worker.
Someone doesn't know what a worker is.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Time for Professor Scott to teach everybody what a worker is.
Don't get me started.
Time to come under the learning tree.
Boss, what have you done? You Mr. Beast.
Boss.
I always know how to tickle the ivories.
It means 2 things.
Now I'm talking sexual.
That one is also sexual.
Tickle.
But anyway, that's how much we care about this match.
Yeah, not that the match was bad, it's just why did it have to happen?
And then they do another teaser afterward, like, yay, and then blah, fuck off. All right, nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the X-Pac and Road Dogg match from 2000, where it's okay, cool, whatever. Next match, please.
Don't care.
Yeah. But in the end, BG defeated Kip in 8 minutes. Now time to get a little ranty around here. Nobody fuck with me right now. So up next...
Here we go.
So up next, we get a 16... Hold up, Ricky. You hold your horses. This is my moment. This is my moment.
Everybody, shut the fuck up, everybody.
Mute yourselves.
Because up next...
about to say in English?
Hey,
I'll
Ricky,
translate in Spanish.
Hey, did you hear what Levi said?
Ricky, what did I say? Shut up. Ricardo. Richard. But yeah, up next. The 6-team cuffed in a cage match. We have the Rock and Rave Infection, Motor City Machine Guns, Latin American Exchange, Petey Williams, Scott Steiner, Kazarian and Eric Young, and Black Rain and Relic. All in a cage where the only way to win is to be one half of the last team standing while everybody gets cuffed. Vince Russo, for as much as I want to praise you for Survivor Series 98 and a few other things, what the fuck were you thinking with this garbage? This is one of the dumbest things I have ever seen in my life.
Bro, you gotta understand, you gotta make every cage match different. So I have a $1 million idea. You cuff people in the cage.
Someone turned the AI off.
Yeah, someone turned the AI off because Russo, yes, you can make the argument every cage match should be different, but this is just flat out utter rubbish. Everybody
how
looks
many
like
wrestling shows have you ever written, bro?
I could probably write better than you ever could today, pal.
You,
and I'm not your bro.
I created Stone Cold and The Rock and DX and the Ministry and Goldust and Sable and her tits.
Yeah, and you also created fucking Beaver Cleavage. Moving on.
Hey, you of all people should know about stuff like that because of the videos you buy on the internet, bro.
Their works. You try to portray it as real.
Dude, wrestling is fake, bro.
It's a work, Russo.
Bro, you
Russo,
just
if I ever
jealous.
meet
You
you
don't have
outside,
to
I'm gonna
do
kick
this,
your ass,
bro.
and Jim Cornette will be laughing.
Bro, bring it. I'd like to beat that Louisville piece of shit up all day long, and this is wrestling, bro!
I thought you hated wrestling, Rusev. Rusev.
Rusev,
You know what? I'm so fucking hyped. I'm so hyper, I don't care. You're Russo. Anyways.
Hey guys, what's up? I
Anyways.
saw some New York guy run out of here.
Yeah,
Thank
and I about wanted to kill him.
Knock him out, will you? See, you
But
pissed off Ricky.
anyways.
He ran away.
But anyway, so
I
yeah.
told that piece of shit to never come back here ever again.
He'll
I
show
hope
up.
y'all realize we talked longer than this match needed to exist.
Well,
So.
yeah, because just what the everybody looks so fucking stupid in this match, especially Steiner. Like he was the first one cuffed, and he has to stand there for like 8 minutes. Like,
And he's built like a brick shit house. Granted,
Dude, if this was real, Scott would just rip
Yes,
the
he
top
would.
off and just beat everybody up.
he would have been like, oh my god,
He should have been the
And
last
also-
one
and
cuffed.
also,
Oh,
Relic,
Jesus.
Relic is killer spelled backwards.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
and Black,
I didn't know
and guess
that.
what? Black Rain is Dustin's
That was
favorite
great,
gimmick.
boss. That delivery was great.
Mention Black Rain to Dustin on Twitter.
Oh,
He loves
dare
that.
you.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
go.
This
Yeah.
is like the lowest point
The
of his
rock
life.
bottom in his career and
Yeah.
life, honestly.
And Relic was also a low point for Johnny Stamboli, too.
That's
What
that was.
the
What
fuck
the
was
heck?
I thinking?
Like, I forgot.
I
Bro,
didn't even realize who it was until I looked it up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Bro, we're gonna put you in a mask that looks like Hannibal Lecter, and we're gonna put you in this big giant crate, and we're gonna put your name, and it's gonna be killer spelled backward, bro.
Dude, see that New York guy? He ran all the way to
Showed up
Boss's
again.
room. What the
Fuck,
hell?
man.
Bro, I
No,
airballed in a little bitty 6.
Hermano, ¿tú crees que eres tan verga? Vete a la chingada de aquí, pinche Vince Russo.
Tell
La
him,
neta, güey. La neta, cállate los hocico, güey. ¿Tú crees que te quedes bien verga? Yo tengo más verga que tú, güey. Por esa razón ya te queda tu pinche culo, güey. Por eso este chico te quiere parar el
You can
pinche culo.
translate. You can translate. He just said Vince Russo is a piece of shit and should go fuck himself. Now get out of this stream, Vinny Rue.
That's not what he said. He said Vince Russo is the
Bro,
greatest booker of all
kid,
time.
kid,
Jim
don't
Cornette's a
distract
joke.
yourself.
I love Jinder Mahal. Eddie's overrated. That's what he said.
Oh, God.
Oh my god!
I didn't say it. That's what Ricky said.
Can somebody clip
I
that?
speak fluent Spanish. I know
Somebody
what he
clip this.
Just
said.
say
I can't believe
Yo,
Ricky
that
said
bro,
that.
Eddie Guerrero
Wow.
is overrated over
I
Jinder
think you need to move out of Texas, dude. Why would you think that? You need to move out of Texas. Give me your dolls, dude. You don't deserve the Eddie Guerrero dolls anymore. Give them to me. I appreciate his contributions to this world.
So, anyway, what's the result of this match?
I don't fucking
Are we talking about
know.
match?
Anyway.
In the end,
But
who won
anyways, so
Anyway,
the only positive I have about this match, Super Eric. That was cool. He came in,
That
cleaned
dive off
house,
the
and
cage
got
was
the win.
cool,
That dive
but-
off the cage was sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's literally the only positive. This is one of the dumbest things
this
I've ever
match was like-
seen.
it was designed to help get Eric over because he gets beat up in the back,
Mhm.
comes out for the match, gets scared off, changes, then he comes out super Eric and becomes the big hero. So,
Yeah.
Bro, I'm a
Yeah, it was for
genius, bro.
Vince, we told you to leave now. Leave and never come back.
Shut up, Detroit boy. The line's
Oh,
fuck out.
Hey, don't make Scott go over there and kick your ass.
No, don't. Please.
No, Scott would
Oh,
actually kick my ass. Not gonna lie.
Probably, but yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Don't make
kick your
me,
ass
don't
thinking
make me
you're
get the
Russo.
belt. Don't make me get la chancla. Don't make me get la chancla. I'll fucking be dressed with a chancla.
Yo,
Dude,
El Dorado, go distract yourself with some Nikita Lyons picks.
Jesus Christ.
Boss is going off tonight. I love
Yeah,
it.
he is.
I love it.
But yeah, in
He's
the
not
end,
scared
this
anymore.
match-
He's getting into it now. I like
But
it.
yeah,
I like
this
it.
match-
He drew some
Keep bringing it,
cojones.
Keep bringing it. He's getting the
No, we've been
cojones.
talking way more than this pay-per-view, and I'm loving it.
You have Marbles! You have marbles!
Mamas. Mamas?
Huevos?
What was the topic of today again?
What? What are we talking about? What?
Anyway,
I don't know.
We've talked
yeah.
more about
I'm
Russo
so
than
shook that
anything
Ricky
else.
said that Eddie's overrated. So Jesus, man.
That broke Ricky.
he
I'm
wants
just
to.
I'm shook.
Hey.
I'm physically shook at that.
Hey, Ricky, who do you think's the worst WWE champion of all time?
He's got nothing. Anyway, so
Yep.
Is it
yeah.
a certain J, F, and M?
John fucking Morrison?
There you go.
Good one, boss. Good one.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
But anyways,
Yeah.
in the end, Kazarian and Super Eric win cuffed in a cage in
Yay.
one of the dumbest matches ever. Granted, it's not nearly as bad as the blindfold or the electrified cage match from the year prior, but that ain't
That's
saying
true.
much. That ain't saying much because this was still bad. But in the end, 10 minutes, 45 seconds, nobody will ever get back.
It's kind of like, hey guys, you remember
Three
those
low.
bad
Oh,
gimmick cage matches from before? We're gonna make it somehow even dumber.
But now we're into the second half, and finally we're picking things back up a little bit. Because up next, we get a Knockouts tag team match. We have Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed versus Gail Kim and ODB. The continuation of the Gail Kong feud, and also ODB starting to be on the rise in the Knockouts. And Raisha Saeed, cheerleader Melissa. What
Yeah.
more can be said?
I never understood
really
why
good
they did
workers,
that.
but
I never understood that gimmick. It just didn't make sense.
and she did
covered her
both.
face.
And she did both at the same time at one point too,
Mm-hmm.
which was
They also
odd.
would get Rocket Khan and eventually Soldier Bolt.
Yeah,
As
Or the
Scott
Kong
Steiner
Barrage.
called him Confucius.
what the fuck? But for
If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Scott Steiner announcing. It is the funniest shit.
Mhm. But for a Knockouts tag, it was decent. It was a decent
fine.
match.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it was more
Kong-
like you said.
Kong
It was,
was
more the
doing
Gail
her-
Kim, Amazing Kong storyline. They worked incredible together. ODB did good. Melissa did good too. I never understood the gimmick, why they did that to her. Because I mean, in the days of this time frame for the Shimmer promotion, it was like Sarah Del Rey, Cheerleader Melissa. They were the top two of that promotion. They were looked upon as two of the best women's wrestlers going in the business at that time. And then you get signed to TNA and they hit her with this gimmick. It's like, why? What? For what reason? So,
I guess Kong needed a translator.
whatever.
Or whatever. But in the end, Gail Kim and ODB defeated Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed in 8 minutes 30 seconds. We go from one tag to another tag, this time a mixed tag, and one that I almost completely forgot about, but we got Robert Roode and Peyton Banks. Remember her?
No.
Don't think so.
Ooh.
No.
Versus Booker T and Charmel. So this story was mostly revolved around, well, a little bit before this was revolving around the split between Rude and Ms. Brooks. And Gail got involved, and then Booker and Charmel get involved, trying to help Brooks get away from Rude. She finally does, and then Rude gets his lady, Peyton Banks. And
Yippee.
She looked hot, by the way.
she,
Yeah,
yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah. After all, she is,
Isn't she
Yeah,
in
she-
Kaz? Isn't she dating Kaz?
I don't
Kazarian?
think so.
Don't know.
No, Miss Brooks, I think, is married to Kaz. I was talking about Peyton Banks.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
She
no.
was
Peyton Brooks.
Rain in AAA.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, I guess that's the other big thing, and she was also
Oh,
in
also,
Shimmer.
I got a big question. Why was this feud going on for fucking ever? Like, I felt like this feud was going on for a year. Like, they had like a match, I think in what was it? Like they feuded like shortly after Booker got into the company.
Yeah, like
And
after
they
Genesis
just kept
07.
feuding and feuding. Like,
I guess they needed to fill time for Booker until he got into the world title program not out long after this.
Although Booker didn't give a shit, he was just there for a paycheck.
Yeah.
Don't really
Mhm.
blame
And he's
him.
even said so as much.
Yeah, he's admitted that. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
But
I mean, I guess he worked out Main Event Mafia for a few
Yeah.
months, and then he got
Respect.
checked out.
Yeah.
bringing back the African accent he had for King Booker, which was cool. But yeah, the match itself, not bad, but
Forgettable. Very forgettable.
It was
I
hardly
forgot-
it was
I
hardly
forgot
an
that
intergender
Roode
tag
had
or
another
mixed tag.
manager other than Tracy.
Brooks. Yeah. But in the end, Booker T and Sharmell defeated Robert Roode and Peyton Banks in 7 minutes 45 seconds.
Woo.
Now on to the real stuff we want to talk about. The good shit. Starting off the penultimate match, match number 7, it's Lethal Lockdown. We have Team Tomko of Tomko, AJ Styles, James Storm, and Team
Fucking
3D.
Tomko leading a Lethal Lockdown team. That's almost as bad as Garrett Bischoff leading a Lethal Lockdown team.
Although it's
But-
somehow worse when you take into consideration that Tomko was the better worker of the two.
Yeah.
Then again, a 5-year-old can do better than fucking Garrett Bischoff.
But yeah, Tomko, AJ Styles, James Storm, and Team 3D versus Team Christian Cage of Christian Cage, Kevin Nash, Matt Morgan, Sting, and Rhino. Now, the real big stories heading into this match was the whole... We did go back a few months earlier, like Genesis 07, the night that AJ and Tomko joined with Kurt Angle, and they're part of two groups, Christian's Coalition and the Angle Alliance. Then they're forced to choose. Tomko initially just decided, no, I ain't joining either. Then it became all about AJ, and AJ chose Kurt, and Tomko chose Kurt eventually, leading to AJ and Tomko feuding with Christian. However, at the same time, AJ and Tomko are starting to get on each other's nerves at this point.
And this
But
was
the
the
big-
start of AJ's babyface turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, but the big story, well, you have other stories going on at the same time. You had the Rhino James Storm feud, all revolving around Rhino's past alcohol issues. How they had that crazy Elevation X match the month prior where Storm took the bump through the table, which was salute you,
Pretty
Storm.
much.
And then-
This is war. This is war games without.
This is their
version of
war
This is
games,
TNA's
yeah.
War Games.
Yeah.
Except
Right.
only
And then you
one
also
game.
had, and also the Dudleys are getting out of the weight gimmick they were doing for a couple of months. And Sting thrown in here because, let's give him something to do until we let him come back in the summer for the beginning of the main event. Mafia.
Christian trying to redeem his friendship with Rhino.
I was saving that for last. Like, Nash hates the Angle Alliance and all that. Matt Morgan, who's starting to get on the rise. But yeah, the real big story, Christian and Rhino, love the continuity here dating back to their feud a year and a half prior, where after Christian turned heel and just went full on dickhead to Rhino, leading to great fucking matches they had. Now that Christian's babyface, he's realized, like, okay, I made a lot of dumb decisions. Rhino, will you please be my friend again? And it's similar to what we've seen recently with Sammy and KO. It's like, it had to take a lot of work for those two to get back together. Like here, it took a lot of work for Christian and Rhino to work together again. And they finally buried the hatchet and became pals again. And it was a cool moment heading into the match. Now, the
And
match
also,
itself...
Matt Morgan was kind of like the bodyguard in some ways for Cornette. That's how he
For a
was
little
starting
while,
to come into the
and
company.
then he started to become his own man by this point, and was
Talk
starting
about a missed opportunity there. They had
Yes.
multiple times to push Matt Morgan as somebody.
I mean, they utilized him way better than WWE did. At least he didn't give
Well,
him
yeah.
a stutter gimmick.
Exactly.
But at the same time, he's submitting to Sting in 2012. Like, really?
Yeah. But for a Lethal Lockdown match, I thought this was a great Lethal Lockdown match. I'd
I
say it
think
was
it's
a
top 3
tad
Lethal
bit
Lockdown.
better than the year prior, just by a notch. The fucking spot, though, at the end with AJ and Christian on the ladder on top of the cage, and I think it was
And it
Storm who
barely
pushed the
broke.
ladder off and barely broke the table. It was like,
Yep.
Jesus,
It was like,
guys.
Oh God.
Freaking everything that AJ did in TNA for all those years.
Yeah.
Holy
it's
shit.
surprising-
There's a
it's
reason
surprising
he's called the
still walking.
phenomenal one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Especially in Lethal Lockdown.
Yeah.
Like when he
And
was
also-
hanging on top of the impact zone, when he did that dive the year earlier. And then this, like, Jesus Christ.
And then the year
And all-
after, jumps through the roof. The year later.
And also, I gotta praise the commentary for this match. Late great Don Callis. Or
Don
not
West.
Don Callis. Jesus H. Christ. I'll
Don West,
put
yes.
myself in the
We
grave
know.
before ever praising Don Callis. Don West.
Yep.
His fandom, you can tell he may not know a lick about wrestling, but when it comes to entertainment, he may be the most entertaining commentator of all time.
Did you? Yes, Don, we saw that.
He was
Well,
like
You
the, he
got
was like
to
the
be kidding
precursor.
me.
He was like the precursor to Pat McAfee
In a way,
in terms
yeah.
of energy on the commentary table.
And I
It's like you had
how-
Tanae who knew the facts, and then you had Don West as pretty much all of us.
Fanboy. Mm-hmm.
And I
All
like
the
how
marks.
Storm, after Storm pushed Styles and Christian off the cage, he just nonchalantly just freaking chucked a bottle at Morgan, and then he gets hit with the gore right afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, freaking Tomko. Okay, so Morgan gets hit in the stomach with a chair, and he puts his head, sticks his head out just to take the chair shot. It's like, you're supposed to do the opposite of that, but okay, enjoy a free concussion there, Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lollipop.
Yeah.
But in the end, Team Christian defeated Team Tonko in 26 minutes 45 seconds. And now, time for the big one. Match
Yep.
number 8, main event, the second and final championship match of the night for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Champion Kurt Angle versus challenger Samoa Joe. So, feud been going on and off for a year and a half, pretty much from the moment Kurt came into the company in October 2006. And the headbutt heard around the world, their first encounter at Genesis, then Turning Point, and then the Iron Man match, then the every belt on the line and Hard Justice year prior.
Winner take all.
And just kept going back and forth on and off throughout this whole time frame. And yeah, you could, like we talked about it on the Samoa Joe streak episode we did a long time ago, which that episode in the archives. Yeah, Joe should have been champion throughout most of 2007 up until Bound for Glory, and that's when you could have had Kurt win the belt and end Joe's streak, but that's neither here nor there. But the build-up to this match was awesome, like basically saying, this is Joe's final chance to become a world champion, and if he can't win, he's done. And the training montages, like they went MMA with this whole thing, which made sense because some people may not know, Kurt at this point was training MMA because he wanted to go into MMA for a fight or two, so that way he could have been the first Olympic gold medalist in shoot amateur freestyle wrestling to go into MMA. Because up to this point, nobody had done that. He was training to get into that, like hell he talked about in the documentary TNA did, that around the time when he went to TNA, he was also attempting to go to UFC and actually had a meeting with Dana White, but Dana White called him back, said, I'd be interested in having you over, but you can't wrestle anymore. And Kurt's like, well, did he get the waiver that I'm signed with TNA? And who knows the real details about that. And then you had Pro League XC, which wasn't coming up with the right amount of money, and then IFL wanted him to fight Ken Shamrock in January of 2007, and Kurt's like, I can't do that. I need to train. That's not enough time to train for him. So it just didn't work out for Kurt to make the jump to MMA for a 1-time or 2-time fight. Meanwhile, Joe already was training with a bunch of MMA guys because he's friends with guys like Tito Ortiz and so on and so forth. So perfect build for both of these guys heading into this match. And Kurt looking like an MMA fighter, and UFC legend Frank Trigg on commentary, guest commentary for this match, which was cool because I am a fan of Frank Trigg. Even though he was a bit of a dick back in the day.
And he never appeared in the ring.
No
way he did. He
but
did
the
have a wrestling match.
the entrances were cool. Kurt in the MMA trunks, the taped fists, Joe with the Samoan dancers, and then we get the match itself.
And I'll say this, in my opinion, this is the greatest match in TNA history.
I agree.
Up there.
One of the best.
I mean,
I
a
think
lot
it's
of
Joe and Angle's
people
best
say
match.
the Unbreakable 3-Way, but it's like this here, this had the story, this had the hype, this had the build, and just everything involved. This
And
is
another thing too was that while Joe and Angle were never, they would never like come into contact with each other. Joe was always a thorn in Angle's side. Like even when he wasn't fighting Angle, he was fighting with Styles and Tomko. Like him and Nash had a match for tag titles, and that's when Nash kind of left Joe, and then they would have a little bit of a brawl, and then you get to what was it? Against All Odds, where Joe was the special enforcer when Christian was taking on Angle, and then that's when Styles turned on, or that's when Tomko turned on Christian, and you have all this stuff. Joe wanted the world title come hell or high water, and he's finally get his opportunity here. And I'll say this in my opinion was better than their trilogy of matches when Angle came into the company.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because I really liked their first encounter. I really love the Turning Point match. I really love their Iron Man match.
Even their Hard
matches later
Justice
on
07
after
was great. And even matches they would have after this were really good.
These
I
two just
can't
had
think of a
great
bad
chemistry
match
together.
between these
Yeah.
two. No.
They connected on so many levels. The chemistry they had in the ring, the realness of their gimmicks and their promos, and the fact this Angle did great business. That match sold, as you said, one of the top drawing
The
pay-per-views.
two most bought pay-per-views in company history, the main event is Angle and Joe.
There you go.
Yep.
So that tells you right there. This is business-wise. If Al Snow is here, what'd he tell you?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Although during this match, Kurt did get knocked a little loopy
he did.
during this
Yep.
match.
Does that.
Yep.
Like,
The
ooh.
fucking clothesline Joe gives him at one point, takes his head off. My
Oh
God.
Yeah.
God! I was
Jesus.
like, "Are you okay, Kurt? Are you okay?"
Smelling
And
salt?
I
Kobashi
really
who?
love the MMA style they were going for here. Like they weren't trying to try to be all flashy and poppy. They wanted to be as catch
They
can
look
as
legitimate.
possibly can.
As
Like,
Yeah.
legitimate
I
as
don't,
they
want to say,
could.
I don't want to say look real, but look legitimate. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
like a George Hackenschmidt kind of style
Mhm.
to it,
Yeah.
or like a Frank Gotch.
Straight up going out there and seeing who the better wrestler is at first. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I give you a little bit. You better know when to. That's a function of like Japanese wrestling, because wrestling in Japan, when you're working over there, it's like, okay, you have to be ready for them to give you that little bit, and you got to be ready to take it. If you don't, they're going to teach you, hey, that was your chance to get it. If you didn't get it this time, you're not going to get it again. Otherwise, and we're just going to fucking eat you up. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
you got to be in, and that's what they did with each other. But they already had time in the ring together. They already knew each other's timing and had everything ready to go. So it was like magic every time they got going. You felt it. It's one of those big fight feels that is missing so much. So
Yeah. But now part of me wonders, because how this match helped this show out business-wise, could you imagine, like, and this is one of those what ifs. What if, after that headbutt heard around the world, and we've talked about it numerous times on here, but it bears repeating. After the headbutt heard around the world and they fight on that Go Home to Bound for Glory 06, they should have just milked the build-up to this. Or they could have
Yes.
done this match at Bound for Glory last October. They could have done a 6 Sides of Steel
Yeah.
in this way then. there's so much opportunity they had, but you can't take away from what this match actually did do. All things
It was
considered.
basically a year and a half worth of build
Yes.
with a very satisfying conclusion.
Mhm.
Unlike some.
And this was worth the steel cage stipulation.
Yes.
You build up, you build up, and you build up, and then finally this.
And of course, adding more to that MMA influence of this match too. So it fit perfectly. But in the end, after a long, hard-fought road to finally get it, Samoa Joe defeated Kurt Angle in 17 minutes 45 seconds to finally become TNA World
And I can
Heavyweight
remember at
Champion.
the time, it was like, cool, Joe's champion, but at the same time, this should have happened a year earlier.
Yeah.
They almost,
and-
they missed the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because look what happened afterwards. Joe would be booked like a chump, basically, and
That was after his title reign. He had a good title reign, but afterwards...
Joe should have been a 3-time world champion, if you're asking me. At least 3. At least. But I don't know. His world title, I don't think his world title reign was bad. It was just kind of like unsatisfactory. Like the moment him winning was good.
But then after that, it's like
he was with were kind of just okay.
The chase is better than the reign more times than not.
I don't think Joe's had a successful title reign since he was Ring of Honor World Champion.
No.
And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of say NXT, but him and Nakamura were kind of flip-flopping with the titles.
Yeah,
even
they were
that.
potatoing the
thing,
build,
so it was never meant to be long term.
Because like Joe's reign here, afterwards, he's working Steiner.
Well, Joe was X
and
Division
Kaz.
champion.
It was X Division.
Yeah, X Division title
too.
runs were good, but he never held it
again,
long.
It didn't seem like he was making. He was just a.
He wasn't really drawing as much.
Well, it's not. I know what you're saying, but it wasn't factor drawing as an X Division champion. He was standing out more than anybody else in the division, and I think there was the discussion of like they needed a. It seemed like everyone in the X Division was like respectful to each other. There was an honorable code among them. Where that came from, I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
But they needed a heel of the fact of the division, and well, Joe, you're the biggest one, so I guess it's going to be you because it's not about weight,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that just helped make him stand up with the belt on him. He becomes the mountain of the X Division. So,
and they wanted him as a heel, but people fucking loved him.
People loved him.
Basically
yes.
like Sid. Basically like Sid.
Right.
Every time they tried to make him
Joe's
heel, he was
a good
over.
heel, but Joe's a good heel, but I think he's a better babyface.
Yeah, because
he's
people
so
like him.
cool.
He's cool.
Joe is just Joe. Joe is.
It didn't matter what you do. The fans were going to be like Joe. Mm-hmm. Joe's
I
gonna
was one of
kill
those
you.
people.
Joe's gonna kill you. I met the guy. You cannot love this guy. You cannot not love this guy. It's just he's a massive, just a teddy bear of a dude. He's very, very cool, very down to earth, very chill.
Very hilarious.
I'll never forget this moment. I was doing a Ring of Honor show, and I forget what the match was. Joe's out of the ring. He's on the floor, laying there on the floor, and a bunch of us run over and check on him, make it look like are you okay? Are you okay? And he just looks up and says, "Do you believe in Jesus?" Just like that.
Wow.
So it just what? He just blurts that out. So I was like, okay. And this is a Ring of Honor match. This is like some sideway indie show. This is a really. Was it the 4-way? No, it wasn't the 4. I forget what the match was, but he just falls on the floor. Oh my God, Joe, you okay? Just blurts out that. And we're trying not to break. We're trying not to. That's probably why he did it. But Joe's just a wonderful person, and he's the guy you want to see succeed. And it just sucks to see him at the level he is now. And I'm not bitching about his position AEW, but the fact that he has just broken down physically so much throughout his career.
He can't really go much.
He can't do as much as you want him to. He's a guy you don't want to see. He's like Mick Foley in that respect. He gave so much of his body to the business, and when he finally got the success, it was like he can't do
when it was prime
what he once could.
See, Bound for Glory 08 when he did that fucking dive.
Yep.
And I thought, I was like, oh shit, he better not have broke his back.
Right.
Yeah.
He almost broke his Joe.
Mhm.
Almost
And then he
broke his
revealed, like,
shoulder.
it was a little bumps and bruises. I was fine.
I mean, when you debut on Raw and you accidentally cause Seth to tear his knee,
Yeah,
that was
did not
there.
look good.
I was there.
it was there
Oh man.
because
When-
there's the mic pickup of that when Joe puts him in the thing. They go down. Are you okay? I hope so.
Like, oh, shit.
And he wasn't.
But anyway, so overall, Lockdown 08, at best, okay. At worst,
It's a 50-50
average.
show. You know.
Yeah.
And downhill.
It started
Yeah,
good
up
and
and
it
down.
ended good.
It's
It
not a
had
a hot
fantastic.
opening and it
Yes,
had a
yeah.
hot finish.
Strong start. Pretty big
Meh,
dip in the middle there.
and
But at the
great
last
end.
second, it pulled
The
it off.
two matches that needed to delivered. And that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now on to favorite, least favorite, sleeper, and shocker. I think we're all in agreement. Favorite, Joe Kurt.
Main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main event.
Yeah.
Yep. Joe. Kurt.
No,
Yeah.
bro. It's the Queen of the Cage match.
I thought you were
Russo,
gonna
what
say
have we
the tag
told you?
match.
Get out, because guess what? Everyone's least favorite is probably going to be cuffed in a cage because that was a stupid concept, Russo.
No, bro. It was obviously Joe and Angle. It was the worst match I've ever seen in my life. It was boring. No one
See,
cared
now-
about Fat Joe.
Russo, you don't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch.
Hey, what
Wait,
did
hold on.
Smart Mark want to say?
I had a little bit of an offensive taken this because he kind of sounds a bit like me. I would not appreciate you doing that right now because Samoa Joe is the greatest wrestler ever in the world. Because Joe is gonna,
He's gonna
kill ya.
you.
Joe
Yes.
He's
is gonna kill ya. Joe
Alright, sorry, I had to get
is
him out
gonna
there.
kill ya.
Joe.
Shut up, you fucking
Joe.
mark.
Mo. Mo.
I don't know if you
Mo.
listen about this, Ricky, but I released a concept album about Black and Black, and I think it's the best album artwork of all time.
Anyway,
And then
sleeper.
sleeper, I go the X Division Escape match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Shocker.
And then the shocker.
We
And
had
Joel
the
didn't
new,
win the
we had the
title
New Age
earlier.
Outlaw. We had the New Age Outlaws match last as long as it did.
Yeah, that's that.
Shocker.
Karen Angle was dejected from ringside. Don't forget that part.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah,
there
no one
for
cared.
that.
No one cared
Because
about
Kurt
her.
wanted no distractions.
Yeah, and
I
look
guess
what
that's
happened.
Okay, here's the shocker. The fact that they allowed the cuffed in a cage concept actually
To
happened.
pass through. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the shock.
Well, look at
That's
the money
my
mark
shocker.
that owned the company.
Right.
Well, another shocker is that Styles and Christian didn't hurt
That
themselves
ladder
more.
spot.
That's- yeah.
Or another shocker, the fact that Black Rain was in the final two of Cuffed in a Cage.
Mm.
There's your
But
shocker.
push job endeavor. Make it a
Oh,
funny
boy.
one.
Make it a fun
Make
one?
it make it a
woof,
funny
woof.
one.
A wolf.
Okay, wait.
Funny
I
one.
want to get one.
wanna
Black
do-
Rain,
go.
Relic,
Go ahead.
Shark Boy.
Black Rain, Relic, Dark Boy.
Shark Boy.
Shark Boy.
Push
Shark
Shark
Boy
Boy because
would
his
be better.
gimmick's
Shark
over.
Boy.
Job,
Whoa,
Relic, and
okay, Shark
Endeavor.
Boy, Shark Boy goes heel and becomes a disciple of Black Rain and becomes Dark Boy.
Dark Boy.
Oh god.
There you go. That's money, bro.
Oh, my Lord.
Do you guys remember the Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
I
Yes.
do.
And he
Yeah.
sued them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
sued
you
them
do.
over
Why
it.
would you sue them? Like, what the fuck?
He owned Shark Boy for years before
For
that.
years. Yeah, he did that in
Trademarked.
the Ohio Independence for years for that.
He wa-
So, yeah.
he did some matches as Shark Boy in WCW during the latter portions of the company's existence.
He did.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fair.
But push Shark Boy because the fucking Stone
Yes.
Cold gimmick he's doing is just so entertaining, and even Austin.
Give
loved
me a
it.
shell,
Job
yeah.
Relic because Johnny
Relic.
Stamboli's a good hand in the
Yeah.
ring, and then Endeavor,
Endeavor,
Black Rain so
Black
Dustin
Rain.
can get clean.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
the
there you
worst part is that the Black Rain character
Isn't bad. It's a good
It's
character
not bad.
on paper.
It's evil gold
Dustin
dust.
was
Yeah.
not in the
Yeah.
right frame
And
of
that
mind.
voice, that fucking voice he did with it was really cool. It's just a shame
If-
it happened when he was at rock bottom.
if Dustin was in the right frame of mind for this, he could have pulled it off.
Great. I think it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Black Rain is the legit version. It is the epitome of a shell of a man. Because Dustin was hating life, and we can all see it. Like he looked dead on the inside, but thankfully he's clean. He thankfully
still doing this
and
still going,
still doing it.
I know.
53
good job, Dustin.
years
How
old,
many
50
comebacks has he
Watch.
had, and
Wait,
they've all been better and better and better.
Like when I saw him in AEW, he still fucking has it. Like
He
holy
still fucking
shit.
go. Yep.
He's in his great shape.
He's
a
the
grandfather
natural
now.
for a reason.
Yes.
The guy's a fucking grandfather now, and he's in great shape.
Yeah.
It's
So good
arguably
on
the
him,
best
man.
shape he's been in the
Since
90s.
the original Gold Dust era,
Since he was the natural in WCW.
Yeah.
And that was
Way back.
30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right, Scott, who do you have for Push Savage ever?
Let's see. Well, I had a different one, but we want a fun one. Hard to say looking at this show. Because you could probably say, like, Black Machismo, Consequences Creed, and
Creed.
Consequences Queen. It's gonna be the greatest megastar in the world,
baby. Consequences Queef.
Obey and acknowledge your tribal queef.
Wow.
Oh god.
That sign
And
will
we're
never
canceled.
die.
And we're canceled.
And we're canceled. So, yeah, I guess Black Machismo, Creed, Curry Man.
Oh, man.
Ooh. I
Push-
push Creed. I
Push
push
Lethal, Job Creed, and Defer Curry Man so that way Christopher Daniels can come back.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that.
But then again,
Yeah.
you are losing a fun character.
Yeah, that is
if you
true.
endeavor Creed, that's not
if you
fair
endeavor
because-
any of them, you're losing a fun character.
Yeah, you are.
But in Lethal's case, he goes back to Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but Lethal at that point was pretty red hot.
Yeah.
Like ever since he won the title from the X Division title
Kurt.
from Kurt,
yeah.
he
it
was
really
on a
since-
pretty hot run, and then that whole Sanjay Dutt feud happened.
Yeah. And then he
Plus
and
the
Creed
big-
get paired together, which was a good team. All
They were a
things
good team.
Lethal Consequences.
Lethal Consequences, yeah.
Mhm.
I was surprised
And
they
the
didn't
fact
have a
that
tag title
Lethal-
run in a while.
They
Yeah.
did have a
Lethal
tag
did
title
have-
run.
Oh yeah,
Lethal
well,
did
that
have
was
permission
like,
from Macho
like,
Man to use the
like
gimmick, so he was
illness
cool with
moment.
that. So, Lethal did the right business. He called Macho and said, "Are you okay if I do this?" He said, "Go ahead." So it was fine.
In some ways, he did Macho Man, if not better than Macho in some ways.
Because Lethal's
He-
such a mark for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Him and
And
Flair,
then when they did All In,
Yeah,
and he
and
brought it
Flair-
back and was
Oh,
accompanied by the Genius.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant
It's
move.
like Lethal has had a great run. All anybody can remember him for is Black
Black
Machismo.
Machismo.
That's why characters matter.
Yeah.
Mhm. He's
But
become
now-
like the modern. He's like the modern day equivalent to Christopher Daniels. He's a huge star that has had a great run in many different promotions and has never worked under contract for WWE.
Yeah, and look at what Lethal's doing now. He's in a
Mhm.
random ass tag team with, I call them the TNA Rejects because that's what basically everyone in that team is, except for the big toe motherfucker, aka Satnam Singh.
Hey, you gotta suck so bad that that he's not wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, the dude's a basketball star, but dude, fucking Shaq looked better in his debut match, better than Satnam Singh.
Dude,
How does that happen?
but it's like, the fact that Jarrett's still on TV, you gotta kind of respect that a little bit. The fact that he's at this age, he's clean and whatnot, and able to
Yeah.
do
Mm.
He gets
what
still
he
going
still
to
loves
that
all
his
these years
father
later.
passed.
He's still doing it. Yep.
Man, it's so weird that Jerry Jarrett passed away lately too. That's just so
Yeah.
bizarre. Just
That's Jerry.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Jerry.
But now
Yeah,
on to This Week in Wrestling.
So, you know those rumors about a Trish heel turn in 2023
It happened.
That came to
happened.
fruition.
We all knew it was going to be inevitable.
And
Yeah, it just happened kind of. All the rumors were that it was going to happen at Mania. Thankfully, it didn't. But this seemed like it was kind of fast.
Quick.
It happened
Yeah,
fast.
it was very
so-
fast.
Yeah.
Didn't drag it out. Didn't do
It's
just,
Trish.
like,
She's
get
the
to it.
maple syrup MILF. Why would you
Mhm.
want to boo the MILF?
Because
Nobody's gonna boo her.
No one's gonna boo
no one's
her.
gonna boo her, but here's the deal, people. As much as we love Trish, she's way better as a heel.
Oh,
Way
yeah,
better as a heel.
Oh yeah.
Look
But
at
when
her
you get-
through 04 to 05. She played
Exactly.
Watch the
played the
Kane and
diva.
Lita wedding, and when
Exactly.
Trish comes out, just pause.
Yep, just
Mhm.
pause. Yeah,
She
watch that.
works
Dude.
better, talks better, and looks better as a heel.
Mhm.
She's the
She's a great
epitome
face,
of
but a better heel. I mean,
she's the epitome of a bitch in wrestling, and she's a
Right.
fucking bitch.
And
in
she's
both
good at
ways.
it.
Yeah,
She's
But the
good
thing-
at it.
When you get to the match between her and Becky, they're gonna cheer for Trish.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
is what like I love Bailey and I love her. I love this like kind of bitchy character that Bailey's been
the
doing.
Karen gimmick.
Yeah, the Karen gimmick.
Well,
But-
that's more Chelsea Green, honestly.
Yeah,
No
Chelsea's
one gives a
more
fuck about her.
of a
That's more
carrot.
what she does.
It's Bailey's
Bailey just
character
looks
is
like
what
one.
they really wanted. Like Trish's heel character is what they wanted Bailey's character to be. But Bailey just hasn't quite reached it yet.
Trish and
Yeah,
Becky are
I
going
feel
to
like
split
she'll
the
get there
crowd.
one day. But in terms of like modern equivalent of like Trish from like 04 to 05, Bailey kind of got that level of heat.
Trish and Becky are going to split the crowd. The older
Yeah.
fans are going to go for Trish. The younger fans are going to go for Becky.
Yeah.
Which we kind of can see probably a match at SummerSlam.
I think they're gonna
Most
start.
likely.
I think they're
Yeah.
gonna build this out
That's-
for
That's what
SummerSlam.
that's definitely seems like what it's going to build to.
And then Lita's gonna be sort of in the middle. She's my tag team partner. Well, used to be. She's my best
Right.
friend. So it's gonna be in the
Yeah.
middle.
And then
Lita's
ultimately,
gonna
she's gonna
turn-
choose Trish.
Right,
Yeah.
she'll have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And then
Mm.
call me
I think-
crazy, but is this how they're gonna reunite Becky and Charlotte to go after Trish and Lita?
Yeah,
They
Could
could.
be.
yeah, probably.
do
So I
that.
mean, it depends on the draft, depending how they get drafted.
Right.
Yeah, because we got the draft coming up here
That's in
Oh
2 weeks.
God, that
in
the
2 weeks.
multi-
Yeah.
Because
that
wouldn't that
tumultuous
be a hell of a
draft.
tag? Wouldn't that be a hell of a tag match? Becky
Yeah.
and Charlotte, Trish and Lita.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good match.
I'm trying to think what. Brock and Cody is going to happen at Backlash.
Which
we
we
don't
kind
know.
of saw coming. Yeah.
We kind
Well,
of
he's
saw
put
it
the
coming.
challenge out. Cody's put the challenge out. We hear from Brock this
Yeah.
Monday, so we'll see how they play that out.
Yeah.
Oh, also we have the return of Matt Riddle. Okay,
Bro.
Okay,
Nakamura
yes.
came back last night.
Yeah.
Notice now that Riddle is now being pushed into this big, huge storyline. With
well,
the
to be fair,
Bloodline and
Solo
everyone
did
else.
take him out because Riddle had to go into rehab.
Why-
so
why is
it
this-
makes
why is
sense.
this happening? Why is this happening? Because
Because
WWE and UFC are now the same company.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're going to mark my words. Vince is looking for a crossover performer to do both. And that's a big
Well, you
risk
can-
because of how things go, but they're looking for that. Riddle is one of those guys. He's done
You
UFC,
can technically
he's
say
done
Brock
WWE,
too.
so
You can
they're
also say
looking for that.
Brock
It may not
too,
be
but-
right
Riddle's
now,
younger.
but down the line,
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Brock.
They're going to look for somebody
yeah.
that can do both. So that's
Yeah.
that's why he's being pushed in this spot. He's now even the odds against Solo. So now we're gonna have that in there. So
Get a 6-man tag at Backlash.
right.
Yeah.
Usos and Solo
Yeah.
versus KO, Sami, and Riddle.
Yep.
And then
There
hell, I
seems-
even talked about this too. What if, because Roman's still champion, what if because I'm starting to think maybe they're going to put the belt on Cody at SummerSlam. Maybe they hold off on blowing the bloodline up until Survivor Series,
Mania.
and we can get a War Games match: the Bloodline versus Cody, Riddle, Sami, KO. That could be where Roman finally has had enough of Jay and Jimmy's shit, and then start building towards the eventual Roman Jay match that I keep talking about.
Or they could be doing Roman versus Solo.
Yeah.
Solo's the younger of all of them.
Yeah.
They want to create a new star. Why not put Solo versus Roman?
Or that the Usos can try to oust Roman and try to make Solo their new tribal chief.
They're not going to do that.
No.
And also, any hope we had for Jay winning King of the Ring is out the door, since that's not happening now.
Yep.
Well,
That's Night
the
of
tournaments are
Champions.
the tournaments are still happening.
Oh,
they're just
still
it's now called Night of Champions. So the
Because
two
of
tournaments are
Roman's
still
and the
happening.
1,000 days
Yeah.
as champion.
That's why they're
God.
calling it Night of Champions, because it's
God.
Roman's 1,000th day as champion.
God, it feels long. 1,000 days.
We haven't had a reign like this since Scott was
Since-
young.
Since
Yeah.
Scott
Long
was
time ago.
15.
Been 40
God
years.
damn.
40 years since we've had a reign like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, Roman is going to beat Pedro Morales' record. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's gonna
Surpass
happen.
his
The next
reign,
one-
yeah.
The next one after that is it
Bruno's
Hogan?
second. It's Bruno's second, but he's not going to even get
Which-
close to that.
No, he's not going to get that one. So
Because
Yep.
he's going to probably drop it at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But what if he
There's
doesn't?
no way they're going to have it drag out to Mania.
it's Bruno's
I feel
first,
like it-
and then Backlund, then Bruno's
Yep.
second, and then Hogan.
No,
I think.
It's
No,
Bruno's first, Backlund's first, Hogan's first, then
Hogan
Bruno's
first.
second, then
Then
Pedro.
Bruno's second. Gotcha.
I'll be shocked if Roman, for some reason, wins at SummerSlam. We know he's gonna lose at a WrestleMania, but it's a long stretch. It's a huge undertaking for that.
They won't go that long.
Now you are testing fans' patience.
Yeah.
Right.
If you keep going further,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It worked back in the day because there wasn't like daily television. Yes, you had the house shows, but it wasn't on national television every single week.
Right. The word
Now in a modern
word boss
outset,
is looking for
everyone's
is
patience.
the word boss is looking for is fatigue.
Yeah,
Because
fatigue.
Yeah.
there's so much of it nowadays. It's so easy to have Marvel fatigue, Star Wars fatigue, wrestling fatigue. It's just,
I
So
have
you
Marvel
are
fatigue
at
as well.
you are on that line right now of if it goes past August, like you might be like, I'm done. Forget it.
And not to say that the storyline ends if Roman drops the
No.
belts.
No,
No, it's
No.
not gonna end. No.
gonna
It's the
have a
final
different
chapter.
dynamic. Right.
Mhm.
The final chapter of the story.
So
Yep.
But you have to
Because-
at some point get the belt off of him.
right.
Because if hypothetically, let's just say Roman doesn't lose at SummerSlam, are you really gonna have him lose at Survivor Series or at the Rumble?
No.
No.
It'll be Mania.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at that
bro,
point, like,
drop it at Backlash.
he's not even working Backlash.
Mhm.
I know.
I would say
Damn it, Russo! Will you get out of your bro? I'm
just-
Okay,
throw it out there.
now the joke's done.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's say
milking
if
it
drop
like a dairy
the-
cow at this
if
point.
Roman drops the belt to Cody at SummerSlam, let's say that happens.
Mhm.
What if, we continue the story with a bloodline? We don't have to keep Roman in the title picture at that point because the animosity between everyone in the bloodline is so strong at this point, nobody can get along, and it's pretty much done. So what if we fast forward to WrestleMania 40 and we get Roman versus Rock retirement match? Loser retires. So in that way, Roman could lose because let's face it, he could never do that again
No.
Yeah.
at this stage in his
No.
career. Or The
No.
Rock could lose and make Roman even a bigger star without the title.
That's what I
The
think.
problem is getting the commitment from The Rock, and as of right now, there is no guarantee of a commitment.
Right.
I think at this point,
It's
at
down
this
the road,
point, like
so.
you're probably not going to get that match. If you're not going to get it this coming Mania, I don't think you get it.
Oh, no, you don't. If you don't happen at 40, you don't get it. You don't. Get it.
And
No.
and I think a lot of people forget Rock announced he was retired in 2019.
That
He
don't
ain't
mean
coming
shit.
back. He ain't
Okay,
coming
don't
back
mean
for
shit.
that.
Mr.
Yeah, I don't
Funk,
know.
sir, how many times have you said you were retired?
I don't
Then
understand
again-
the meaning of that word.
Exactly.
And didn't some banana nose, fake hair, fake teeth, blonde guy named Ric Flair say he was going to retire?
I think that means when you take the snows off your Chevy and put new ones on, that's retired.
Again, and call me crazy, but
Crazy.
I think the main event, the main event at WrestleMania 40, it's gonna be a triple threat. WrestleMania 10, what was the main event? Sort of a triple threat, maybe sort of. WrestleMania 20, triple threat. WrestleMania 30, triple threat. You know,
I mean,
don't-
that
I don't
is
mean
a
anything.
pattern.
There is a pattern, yeah.
That is a pattern.
Ricky, you might as well call Ozzy Osbourne because you're going off the rails on Crazy Train.
Nice.
we're all
Because-
crazy, some more than others.
Interesting. Nice.
I'm not just crazy. I'm out of my mind.
It's insane
But,
in the membrane.
But yeah,
SummerSlam is looking like it could be something big because, first off, I got my tickets for SummerSlam within the first 20 minutes.
Yes.
Nice.
Second, apparently over 30,000 tickets have been sold within the first few days, which is a record for SummerSlam this early.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just on anticipation of what could happen.
This SummerSlam's gonna be big, and I mean big.
I
Yeah.
mean, we're looking at Cody Roman 2. We're looking at Trish Becky. Ray wants to do mask versus hair versus Dominic.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Scott. The only way to end this storyline is the good old tradition in Mexican fight, mask versus hair, and that's where I think Ray should retire.
Mm-hmm.
And
Take off the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're potentially Brock versus Gunther would be huge.
Oh god.
Please! I want that so bad.
Whatever
I just
Cena
wonder-
does, whatever Edge does.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder
Because-
how many chops does Brock really want to take?
He'll take chops.
We'll
come
take
on.
'em.
Not that
He'll
many.
take 'em.
Not that
Hey,
stupid.
if-
Maybe not many.
Look, if
Maybe
Brock-
like 5. Maybe
Brock
5.
will be like,
So,
"Hey,
he's-
I will take X amount per chop. You pay me the right, I will take as many
with the
chops
right
for
amount,
it."
yeah. You're gonna get one.
And
then-
besides, if for people who saw during their interaction at the Rumble, it's like you could tell there is a trust for sure between those two.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Brock
There's
totally
They-
respects Gunther.
they
I
are
think he
going
wants to
to-
help him.
They will beat the crap out of each other. and it'll be
Suplexes,
great.
chops, power bombs,
Power
suplexes,
bombs. Yep.
Shooting star
power
presses.
slams. It's gonna be a
God.
hell of a stiff match.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet
So-
Brock's going to go up to Vince or Hunter and say, okay, every time I get chopped, I at least have more in my pay than I originally do. The chop
I don't think he's
every
that
time he's gonna
insane
get chopped, he's
anymore
gonna get
with
a
it.
bonus.
No, I think between Brock and Gunther, they have like sort of like a understanding of how much fans want this match.
There's a
And they're just
respect
gonna
there.
go
Yeah.
out and beat the living crap out of each other.
Mm-hmm. And Brock's crazy enough; he'll do it. And Gunther, this is like his biggest pipe dream is to work with Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he said
Oh
so
my
many
God.
times in interviews that he's wanted to do a match with Brock to see who truly is the final boss in WWE.
And by that time, Gunther should still be in the Continental
Should still be IC champ by this
And
point,
break-
and then
and
break
break the
Honky Tonk's record, and then
That's
Say
he'd be a
after-
month off.
Mhm.
I know, but just keep him on that fast track to it, and then like say if Cody beats Roman, start the build for Gunther versus Cody down the road.
And honestly, keep the IC title on Gunther. Who
You
says
could.
he has to drop the belt?
Yeah.
True.
WrestleMania
basically,
40,
if Gunther
the
and
two
Brock-
powers of the company against each other.
Title for title, champion versus champion. Yeah.
WrestleMania 6 all over again. Ultimate Challenge.
Mm.
So basically, if Gunther and Brock face, it's going to be Austria versus Russia because Brock is built like a bear that the Russians did a mad science
Experiment
like,
on.
It's
Jekyll and
Austria
Hyde.
versus Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
Canada,
Now,
eh?
speaking of Gunther, the rumors have been going around that Drew McIntyre has still not signed a contract, but also he's got some kind of medical stuff going on. That's
Drew.
the story I've heard. Yeah,
Yeah.
Drew. Yeah,
Well,
'cause he
I
didn't
think-
show up at SmackDown.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that
think
was
he
the
was on
story, but it,
SmackDown.
No, he wasn't on
because it
SmackDown.
was some
No,
kind of
he
medical
wasn't.
condition that the internet wants to say he no-showed.
No, he did not.
Sure, he's going to no-show.
And also
so they're
on
still
Twitter,
negotiating a new
he had
contract
a
with him,
black
so.
background on his Twitter. So
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if Drew's going through some mental issues possibly as well. Because
I
you
don't
gotta
think
think
so.
about it.
I don't think
Drew's
so.
been doing this stuff ever since he came back into the company.
Mhm.
And he's been working his ass off. I mean,
And he's been treated very, very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't see him leaving. I see him
Me neither.
staying.
No.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
see
think
him
he
leaving.
just
so,
wanted
you
to
know.
take some time off because look at that match at fucking Mania. Those guys basically beat the
Potatoed
foreskin
one
off of each
another.
other.
He has not had any time off since he came back.
Exactly. And the guy's been through so much, he needs
Kind
a
of,
break.
yeah.
He carried the company during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Worked his ass off in front of nobody.
For nobody.
He wrestled in a
Yeah.
cage match while being very, very, very sick against Cross. He had
Mhm.
like 101 temperature, and he was still battling through it.
Yeah.
So let's go more into this Cody thing. Let's just say Cody does win the title at SummerSlam. Let's just say he does win the title at SummerSlam. He goes on to Mania to defend the title. Who's his opponent?
Gunther.
Gunther.
And Gunther
Xavier
beats
So
him.
Woods.
Gunther wins the Rumble.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. Wins the Rumble and then
They-
wins the
they-
belt at 40.
They were the first two and the last two of the last Rumble.
Honestly,
so
have Gunther come in at number 1 again.
Yeah. See
Yeah.
if he can outdo this year's Rumble.
See if he can avenge himself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Maybe give him
Oh,
the Brock
God.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have
Yeah.
him toss
Here we-
one after another
here
after
we-
another.
Iron Man spot. Why not give him the Brock spot?
Give him the dominant spot, the most
Give him
eliminations.
14.
Yeah, give him the most eliminations.
16.
Give him the dog
Hell,
spot.
give him 15. Give him 15 fucking eliminations.
Why
Liver
not?
spot, your
Liver
spot
spot. The whole
is my
spot.
spot.
Give him the Moondog spot.
Nice.
but going back real quick to returns, Shinsuke Nakamura's back.
Shinsuke,
And it
Yeah.
looks like we're going to get a feud with him and Karrion Kross, which I'm intrigued
Yep.
by.
I like
I
that.
say that's going to be a stiff
Yeah.
match.
That's gonna be good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
nice to come
Um,
back.
There's still continuation with the Bad Bunny, LWO, and the Judgment
Because
Day.
we're gonna-
Backlash.
I think it's
Yeah.
either going to be a normal tag or a 6-man tag with Ray
probably-
Are
and
you gonna
Bad
do
Bunny
2
versus-
6-man tags at the at that show?
Eh.
Speaking of Judgment Day, I do want to address something real quick. Earlier today, there was some unfortunate news. Rhea Ripley announced the passing of her grandmother. Apparently, she was very close with her, and she was obviously very heartbroken about it. But apparently, people like to be assholes on the interweb, and some guy told Rhea to go home and leave WWE, and Rhea fire back like a howitzer. Told the guy to piss off, called him a fucking loser, called him a disgusting human being, and the dude deleted his Twitter apparently, or deleted his account. And that, my friends, is what I call shotgun justice.
And it's the internet, people.
Boss
It
with the
stays
damn
there
metal
forever.
references. tonight.
Assholes on the internet, get the fuck off.
Fuck out.
But
Exactly.
they'll never go away. It's the internet,
No.
unfortunately.
Mhm. It's not a real place anyway. So.
Exactly.
So, from the company up north, let's go down south to Jacksonville. What does AEW have in store? Well,
Well, we had a cool
Look
promo
in
with
my
MJF
eyes. What do you see?
and let's hold off on that for a moment,
It's
okay?
Mussolini
here in a hot
and
minute.
Kennedy.
Let's hold off on Phil for a moment, okay?
I am the cult of
We
personality.
did get a cool segment with MJF, Darby, and Sting. Sting throwing fucking pom poms.
I'm calling it all in MJF versus Sting with Sting's career on the line.
Yes,
Idol versus career.
and I think
And-
that'd be a really good match.
That's how you send Sting off.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Phil.
Oh,
Philly,
Mr. Brooks.
Philly, Phil.
Hey,
Phil
Dr.
Line
Phil
Brooks. More like it.
Kennedy.
Okay, Living Color, calm down.
Yes.
Cult of
That's
personality.
a tough song to play, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Ricky, can you say that in Spanish? Can you sing it in Spanish?
Oh God.
We already did karaoke last week, James.
Mírame con ojos que estás viendo el culto de mi personalidad. Como Mussolini y Kennedy, soy el culto de personalidad. Thank you very much. I'm here all week.
Someone
Yeah.
clip that.
You couldn't have saved. You couldn't have saved it for when you lose a game night.
No, he's
Yeah.
gonna have to sing American Males in Spanish.
Yes,
Oh
he is.
God!
Yes.
Oh my God.
Americano, hombre.
But anyway, Phil. Oh,
Phil.
Phil.
What's
Bill
up,
Nye,
Phil?
the science guy.
Apparently, there's gonna be a lot of meetings between locker room people and Punk to be bringing him back.
And we mean a lot.
There's gonna be a lot of the negotiations going on.
There's gonna have
However you may feel about Punk and his comments and actions, even and after during the media scrum, him coming back to AEW is going to spark more interest in the company.
That's
Yeah.
Because look at the company when he was in AEW and look at the company when he was going
ratings,
to AEW.
pay-per-view buys.
Everything was
Yeah.
up.
Everything was
Yeah.
up.
He's got
And it
all
was-
the leverage he needs.
For business, he was doing good.
Yep.
Look what happened after he got sent home and he had an injury.
Yep.
Business wasn't really doing that hot. Granted, MJF is kind of carrying the company right now as world champion, but there's not a lot of star power on that show. And I'm not trying to say that and say there's no talent on the show, but you don't have a lot of huge star power. Like, yes, you have MJF, you have Darby Allin, you have Jungle Boy, you have John Moxley, Bryan
Jericho.
Danielson, the Bucks, Omega,
Mhm.
Hangman. You have so many others. But Punk
Mhm.
has been money since his indie days. Look at his Ring of Honor stuff. Look at his stuff in WWE. Look at the stuff after, well, I wouldn't say after WWE, but you get what I'm saying here. Punk is a mainstay name. It's like if WWE lost John Cena, let's say around 2010. Do you think business would have been as up if Cena was gone? In some ways, yes, but Cena was a mainstay name for that company. Phil, you need to act like the big. You need to act like the big boy with the big boy pants on. And
This
you
is
need
what
to negotiate with. You don't have to like them. You can still call them everything but a child of God, but you have to at least cooperate in some capacity.
This is what needs to happen. Tony needs to grow a set of balls and tell his entire locker room, this is how is it going to be.
Yep.
You don't have to like each other. I don't give a shit. You have to be professional. And if you can't be professional, here's your release.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if he releases 20, 30, 40 wrestlers. Everybody be professional or get out.
Mhm.
And that has to be the ultimatum Tony gives. Tony has to be a boss. He has to stop being friends. Gotta be the man. Be the boss. Head man in charge.
Chances are, if he says that, everyone in the locker room will kowtow and say, okay, and just move on. Because you know what? Where money lies, honor dies. It's the fucking truth. Especially with the wrestling business. So,
TK needs to stop worrying about what his dad is doing.
Phil needs to do.
What
Phil needs to do is he needs to actually put his money where his mouth is and say that he's a guy that's always cared about business. Well, now is the time where he needs to put his bullshit aside because, as I have said, and we have all told you all, AEW fanboys out there, I'm talking to you right now, you're backing the wrong horse here. So when the chips are down, he's going to carry more about himself than business. That's what he did at the media scrum. That's what led to all this shit, because he didn't do it right. He should have done business-wise and then settle the other shit in the locker room instead of trying to get everyone involved in it. He was basically trying to get the world on his side before he did what he did, and it didn't work. It failed miserably. So he needs to say, okay, yeah, I'm really about the business. Prove it. Prove you're really about the business. Go out there, cut a promo, acknowledge it, move on, don't bury anybody, and say to the people, like, look, I've had time to reflect. You guys know what happened. I know what happened. They all know what happened. But that's the past. What's going to happen now is you guys are going to get what you want. And here comes MJF. And then they set up that match to take place. Simple as that.
But Phil's going to have to swallow his pride.
His pride.
Oh, yeah.
Which is something he's never been good at.
He's having meetings with pretty much everybody.
Yep.
And he's going to have to apologize to every single person, from wrestler to crew and everybody else.
Yep.
Basically, he's basically got to pull an Austin from 2002.
Right. Yep. He's got to do that.
Even if Phil doesn't mean it, at least he owned up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually act like you are sorry.
Yeah. You actually care.
Because business-wise, Punk, FTR, and the Elite, that's the biggest match they can do.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's been a rumor ever since Double or Nothing.
And
Ever
if you
since
want
FTR came back.
You want to sell all those seats for Wembley, that's the match you do.
You have to do that.
Yep.
You have to. If you want to have that match, you want to sell that thing out.
Everyone's got to be willing to play ball.
Everyone out there in the world, look at the roster. What other match can you think of is going to sell that place out for AEW?
And speaking of AEW, let's talk about that women's division. Thunder Rosa came out lately stating that Tony Khan never let her have her moment of relinquishing her AEW World Championship. Apparently, she went on, I think it was the Busted Open SiriusXM podcast. Apparently, she wanted to go into the ring, thank all the fans, tell her about her injury, and tell her that she's going to come back and reclaim her title and be one of the best women's wrestlers, if not the best wrestler going today. Apparently, Tony didn't like that and decided to be like, okay, you're going to stay backstage, talk about it for 30 seconds, and go on your merry way.
Yep.
And Rosa was pissed, and deservedly, because that is kind of a cheap-ass thing to do. Okay, if Punk is going to do it, you better do it for the women. You got to have equality in your wrestling promotion. Because Tony... You just made the list! Yeah,
that was
like
perfect.
That was
perfect.
Good
That was
timing.
perfect.
Someone clip that.
Somebody clip
Someone
that.
clip that.
Tony,
Clip that,
you
people.
just made
Clip
the
that.
Made the list.
Clip
dear
that.
God.
Please clip that.
God, that was
Like,
so
that was-
perfect. Because if you guys have watched All Access, which is kind of like their behind the scenes thing,
No.
everyone was basically burying Thunder Rosa from
Yeah.
like Britt Baker. I don't know if Jamie Hayter was saying little things, but mainly Britt was talking a lot of shit to Rosa. And I'm like, okay, wasn't she the one that was putting you on the map?
Yes.
Wasn't she the one that was making you a superstar?
That was the fucking feud that was building the women's division. Britt and Thunder Rosa.
Exactly. Why are
And
you
now all
going
of
to
a sudden,
destroy
she's a
Rosa?
fucking she's the
She
shits.
was sandbagging. No, not really, because, well, she was kind of working through an injury, and two, the people she was working against were shit wrestlers. Look at that match against her and Marina Shafir. Marina can't wrestle a fucking paper bag, and she's married to Roderick Strong, for Christ's sake.
Well, wrestling talent is not transferred by injection. Sorry.
That's fair.
That means two things.
That was also sexual.
So
That's more shit that needs to be, like, put shit aside, be professional.
and by the way, Vince still is in charge of WWE. He always has been. Okay, folks. So he didn't come back, and he can't be fired. Okay, so let that go.
He has immunity now more than ever.
Well, until the sales final.
Yeah.
Well, even when the sales final, he's in charge of the board. He's chairman of the board. So it would take a decree from the Endeavor board to remove him. So
Also, I want to go back to WWE real quick. Apparently, Logan Paul, he renewed his contract after.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say it, he wants a championship.
Put the fucking US
Why
belt
not?
on him.
Yeah.
go ahead.
I give it
Him and Austin Theory.
championship.
They would have some great matches.
Mhm.
In terms of popularity, sure.
But if he wants to get there first, Logan Paul Gunther.
Oh, dear
That's
God.
that is the ultimate punishment. Like
That's your
Welcome to
that's
the
his chance.
business chop.
Chomp.
Yeah, there you go.
that you know what that's gonna do? That's gonna turn Gunther more babyface and set up for him and Brock even better.
There you go. There you
Oh,
go.
in England, have Logan Paul Gunther for the Intercontinental title.
And then Logan Paul can't handle it, so he goes after Austin Theory. Why? Because Austin's an easier target. And then Austin's like, "Excuse me."
There you go.
Oh, and
There's your build right there.
There you go.
There you go.
Royal
WWE, we just booked something for you. Where's
Endeavor?
our royalties?
And
Endeavor.
by the way,
Yeah,
Endeavor,
Endeavor.
check in the mail,
Endeavor.
please.
where's our royalties from the past? I'm still missing on those royalties.
Yep.
I'm still missing my
yeah.
$13 from what I predicted at Mania.
Dude, I'm missing my money getting Brock and Omos happening.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I think we're no longer in contract though. I think Endeavor are Endeavor.
Yeah. Probably the contract's been null and void. Actually, I think I just got a text message, and guys, we've been endeavored by Endeavor.
We're no
Good
longer
luck
in
in
your
your
future
future
endeavors.
endeavors.
Our endeavors are future.
we're no longer
but
on the
guys,
payroll,
guys,
people.
I have unfortunate news. We just now got demonetized.
How can we be
that
demonetized when we've never been monetized?
Exactly.
I know,
That's
yeah,
fair.
there's that.
I can't
That's
even
fair.
monetize
Yeah.
my shit anymore, so what does it matter?
I can't either.
Shit, fuck.
Yeah, there you go.
Titty milk cunt.
Culo verga, culo verga.
Demonetize this, assholes.
Harvey Weinstein.
Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. What I'm saying? Whoop whoop.
Ugh.
Bago
one-
and other Michigan stuff.
But yeah,
Nice.
give us our royalties, bitch.
But real
Damn
quick, and then the
Oh,
final
they'll
thing,
definitely give it to us now.
and then the final thing to bring up on AEW, and I'm just gonna bring it up quick. Jeff Hardy's back. Jeff, mature up, don't fuck up, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Jeff,
I
this is your
forgot
last
that happened.
chance, dude.
Completely
Even
This
forgot.
is your last chance.
Even though he can't drive
For 10 years.
No, he can't. No, he can't. So
Jeff,
this is it.
I mean,
dude.
he can, but if he
Jeff's
gets caught,
reputation was
then
long
it'll be
ruined
worse.
beforehand.
Mhm.
Jeff is just taking a massive shit all over his reputation. Like he's legit become the male equivalent of Sonny, except
Sonny,
Jeff hasn't
yeah.
murdered anyone in a car accident.
Not yet.
Speaking
Hopefully not.
of Sunny, the new Dark Side of the Ring season 4 is coming up, man.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's
Oh,
starting
yes.
at the end of May.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
That's gonna be
far,
interesting.
I think they're doing.
They're doing
Kenny
Junkyard-
and Chris Indino.
I think Magnum TA is a.
Magnum TA's car
Really?
accident.
Oh wow, they're doing that. Sweet.
That's going to be really good. That's
Yep.
Because a
really
lot of
good-
people probably don't even know who Magnum TA was.
no, they don't.
Especially
He had a
modern
4-year
fans,
career.
yeah.
He had a 4-year
Yeah.
career.
But a damn good 4-year career.
Yeah,
Career,
damn
yeah.
good.
One of the
4 years.
biggest what ifs
Yes.
of all
And,
time.
he's somebody that can talk about it still.
Oh, yeah.
So it won't be like a
also,
total downer.
The whole they're doing the Marty Jannetty and Sean the Rockers ordeal too.
Oh, mostly
Yeah.
Marty Jannetty. Mostly.
Yeah,
honestly.
Martin. But speaking of Magnum, we had the Dusty Rhodes documentary from A&E last
Yep.
Sunday. He was on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that Dusty A&E biography was probably the best one they've ever done.
But no Terry Funk on it, though.
I know, man.
What would Terry Funk say to Dusty Rhodes right now?
That egg-sucking dog, I ain't giving him 2 shits out of my ass. Wow.
You always gotta...
Okay, why would 2 cents be in your ass?
2 shits out of my ass.
Fucking
Oh, the old egg-sucking dog returns.
Egg-sucking dog, that's right. I want that t-shirt. I want a t-shirt.
That egg-sucking dog can kiss
Get a
my
funk
ass.
you shirt.
Funk you, motherfunker.
Get funky like this monkey.
Funky monkey. The funky monkey. Ha ha!
Funky monkey, if you will, baby. Make a dream. That's the roads here, live and in color, baby, on the Shadow Kvlt podcast.
My son, Dustin, put up my loins. Woo!
Hey, Dusty, would you like me to stretch you out, you big dumb bastard?
Ooh, I will kick your ass so much, I'll send you back in Canada in a pine box, if you will.
Are you serious? I can put you in one of my patented sleeper holes and you'll never wake up.
We'll come down to Texas in a Texas bunkhouse match, if you will, in color, babies.
A Texas bunkhouse? What is that, some kind of whorehouse for my wife?
Wow.
Well, I'm asking a question. What's the answer?
What would Terry Funk think of this argument between Dusty and Stu?
You 2 old bastards need to get your asses back in the retirement homes because I've smelled that woman's vagina and I've had cow patties that have smelled better than her vagina every day of my life, damn it.
Why does it smell like
Wait,
ranch?
what?
And I think on
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Helen? When did you have sex with Terry Funker? What? Just last night? You get over here and you sniff my crotch right now.
And boom, pregnant.
Anyways, okay, that's a good way to wrap it all up. Holy shit.
So when a man and a woman love each other...
Terry Funk's giving you the birds and the bees.
They give the hanky-panky in the bedroom on a Saturday night on the mother sip.
Mothership.
1 in the pink, 2 in the stink. Spring chicken.
Actually, what you just said is this.
Anyways, so reminder of the rest of the schedule for April. So next week, we're going to do a debate, part-timers in pro wrestling, the good and the bad when it comes to part-timers in pro wrestling. And then the week after that, we won't be live. We're going to be recording because James won't be here in early May. So we're doing it a week early for the 3rd year anniversary of the show. Good Lord.
We're going to be recording it, and it's going to be airing on Sunday.
Right.
Our fucking madness commentary of Heroes of Wrestling.
MST3K. It's going to be so great. Ricky doing it in all Spanish.
Yes.
I'm being Art Donovan.
And I'm just going to be multiple voices in one body.
And somebody's got to be Krusty, and
somebody's got to be Stu. Somebody's got to be Barnes.
Yep, we're going to get all that
and
stuff
Dusty Rhodes are going to be there talking the Heroes of Wrestling.
Here, I'll be Barnes and Art Donovan.
Dear Lord, what the hell kind of shit was Jake smoking that night? I want some of that.
Hank Hill could be there, too.
Wait,
I've never watched this shit before in my life.
I'll go 1999.
Beavis and Butthead.
I've seen this wrestling. What is Heroes of Wrestling? I don't know what that is. Would you possibly have something I could rub on my body? Like, say, a snake. Because I like snakes. Snakes are cool.
I don't know why you don't like wrestling.
Because we're not wrestling. This is Heroes of Sports Entertainment.
Pinche Kevin Don Apache con tus pinches dientes apaches
and if Walter could be here, we could have Raven a part of the show.
Yes, we could have Raven here. Yes,
we could.
Definitely could have Raven here.
But as far as May goes, first week will be the game night where we're gonna try. I keep forgetting Journey to Wrestling.
Journey of Wrestling.
Journey of
Journey
Wrestling.
of Wrestling.
Where win as a team and lose as a team. And
as a
if we
team.
lose, we're all singing
all have to
American
do-
Males.
That's right. Together.
Simultaneous.
Five-part
We're gonna feel Tyler Breeze's pain on that
Yeah.
one. And then the week after that, we get back to normal scheduled that we had listed, and that's first the week after game night, ECW WrestlePalooza '98. We're going to be talking about. Then the week after that, we're going to be doing a top 10 list. We haven't done one of those in a long time. Top 10 best gimmick matches in wrestling history. And then the final week of May.
Now, by gimmick matches, you mean stipulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
May-
just the stipulation type.
Yes.
It's gonna potentially be my first ever top 10 list, and I'm not really good at those.
That's just your opinion.
Yeah.
I know,
And-
but I normally suck at like doing rankings and all that stuff. I'm like, can I just go with this one? No. Okay.
Let's just
No.
put 10 random ones and call it a night.
And
any
then
bowl, any pole match,
Braun panties.
Mm-hmm.
mud bath match, your mom.
Nikita Lion on my face match. So, you know.
Scarlett
diabetic-
Bordeaux's crotch in my face match.
The
Buttercream.
diabetic coma match.
Yep.
Sweet R Us match.
It's a Russ match. Oh, this is
Two girls,
this is
one
funny.
cup
This
match.
is funny. This is funny.
God,
So,
no.
No.
Why, boss?
No.
Now you just
who wants some
Yes.
chocolate ice cream?
What about
this-
cream?
This is
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
This is funny.
yeah. Real funny, real
hey,
hilarious.
hey, let Scott talk.
Real quick, we're driving down today, and the wife and I, and she said, we were talking about wrestling real quick. She's like, I'd love to see Gigi get moved up to the main roster and her teamed up with Becky. Double carrot cake.
Yes.
With a little hint of
Because she knows
butter.
what we do on here, what we talk about on here. So she's like, hey, double carrot cake. It'd be great. It's like, yeah.
double the carrots,
carrot
double the
cake.
cake.
Double the cake.
Or
Twice the
Japanese, they
cake.
probably say double the carrot, double the cock.
No, Japanese pronounce cock as coke.
That's true.
I would instead
Please
of saying I
give
want
me
some coke, I
cock.
want some cock.
Oh, hello, nice to meet you. Blow me.
Dawn,
story?
where's my automobile?
No, but
You
you
know-
remember the story I told you, right? The blow me story?
You know, that,
Remember that?
that reminded me of something really quick. Don Dawkins and who was it? Mick Brown. Oh, Jesus, that was thunder. I might die here in a little bit, gentlemen, but real quick, I remember Don Dawkins told the story of him. They met this beautiful Italian woman, and they pulled this really mean prank on her, saying, you know, I am a swallower. And she's like, what does that mean? She's like, you
Remember
know,
that.
swallower as a bird. And she's like, hello, I'm Dawkins.
I'm a
I am a
swallower."
swallower. And then she's going around to people saying, hello, my name is So-So. I am a swallower. I'm like, oh my God. That's funny. I am a swallower.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final episode we're doing in May at the end of the month, we're going to be doing another debate. ECW, good or bad for pro wrestling in hindsight, essentially.
EC'd up. EC'd up.
So
EC'd up.
basically, May is ECW month almost.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We go extreme.
Yeah. And then for June, because I did have a schedule made up for June, Game Night once again, opening weekend of June. And then we're going to be doing mostly King of the Ring stuff. We're going to do King of the Ring 93. And then we're going to do a top 10 worst gimmick matches in wrestling history. And ending June with the 25th anniversary of King of the Ring 1998.
I'm willing to
Good
bet
God
the top
Almighty!
10
Good
worst-
God Almighty! It killed him!
I'm willing
It's
to
got
bet
my
the
witness.
worst
It's
gimmick
fucking
matches
and a half.
is gonna.
Oh, barbecue sauce.
I'm willing to bet the worst gimmick matches is going to be nothing that it's going to be everything Vince Russo. Everything.
No.
No,
Not
I got one.
everything.
I got one on top of my head that's not Vince Russo at all. I got one.
Yeah, there you go.
Bro. Bro. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I've already milked it
Yeah,
by this
stop.
point.
Yeah.
It was unfunny like an hour ago. And
Anyways,
Plug time.
now it's plug time, kicking things off with the James.
You can subscribe to my channel at We Are Pro Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at WAPW_wrestling. And you can follow me on Instagram at We Are Pro Wrestling _YT.
I was about to say WPAW. Wapa?
WAPW _wrestling on Twitter. That I still use, and some of the other youngins don't.
Yeah.
Alright. The Boss Man.
you can subscribe to me to my YouTube channel at BuzzSoap86, where I would do Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and AEW Dynamite reviews, alongside with wrestling reviews and predictions in general. I'm also doing some metal reviews and metal retrospectives. This past week, I reviewed 2 new albums. One from a little unknown man by the name of Metallica with 72 Seasons, which I thought it was a fine album. Went too long, but there were some really damn good songs, especially that last track. I thought it was an overall fine offering, but I did listen to the newest Overkill album, Scorched. Maybe, possibly top 15 of the year. That was a very damn good album. 20 albums that band's been going for. Absolutely incredible. And for my Metal Month retrospective, Scott, you're gonna absolutely love this one because someone made a comment about it when I did a little something on my community tab. I'm going to be doing a retrospective on one of the most influential metal bands of all time, the almighty Merciful Fate.
Nice.
And you can follow me on my dead Twitter account at B, Antelope A6, where I would do nothing on Twitter.
Ricky?
You can catch me on my dead Twitter, Horrormaster18, which usually is pretty much it. I just follow Nikki Lines for obvious reasons. Follow me on my Instagram at Arkaramon Metal God. Follow me on my YouTube channel, Horrormaster, which I uploaded the latest episode of my controversial album series on Celtic Frosses to make a theory on, which that was a lot of fun. And you can catch me on Levi's channel doing both Shadow Kvlt and Horseman Podcast.
Scott.
Find me on my YouTube channel. It's Mr. Scott doing reactions on there. I just uploaded their new reaction for To Go Live Tomorrow. It is another acapella song from the group Voice Play. They do an acapella version of the song Valhalla Calling. If you're an Assassin's Creed player, you know this song. If you're on TikTok, you've heard bits and pieces of it. So definitely check out the video. It's a great rendition of the song. Shout out to my boy Roy and the Merkins, because this past week I had the privilege of co-writing another song with Roy that will be coming out relatively soon. Their second original song, but their first original country song. Yes, I helped write a country song.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be looking for that. It's got a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe to it, so you'll like that stuff. You find me on Twitch, jamming on there every single week. I've been doing mostly Wednesday nights these past few weeks, jamming on there. I got the new amp, and I got a new toy today that we're going to start playing around with and see if I can boost the sound on my Twitch stream. So please stop on in there while I jam out. Find me on all social media. I have a very active Twitter account, unlike these guys, so you can find me on Twitter and hang out with me. That's fine. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, under it's Mr. Scott. TeePublic merch store as well. So find me, Horns High.
And finally, if you haven't already, where the hell have you been? Subscribe to my channel, ThrashManiac99. I'm getting close to the 4,000 mark. I'm about 350 away from 4,000, where this is a big weekend for music. I did my Metallica review, posted this morning, and already over 220 views in only less than 12 hours. And
Good.
Surprisingly, the comments haven't been as harsh. I've only had, like, maybe 2 harsh comments. Other than that, it's mostly people who are like, I will read one comment that I think is my favorite comment by far in the entire video section, or comments of the video. Whoa, an actual good review of the album that acknowledges both the fact that it isn't flawless, but it isn't a piece of regurgitated crap like a lot of people have been saying. So, more that! More that instead of just saying Metallica sucks because they don't play thrash anymore. There's still thrash in there, people. Come on. I think it's a pretty damn good album. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I thought about giving it a 9, but I thought, yeah, songs could have been cut down a little bit and would have been better. But
I give it a 3.5. I mean, it's the biggest album of the year in terms of metal.
And will
commercial
be.
metal.
There ain't going to be anything bigger that's going to come out this year.
It's not. No.
Unless Judas Priest drops something, but I don't think they will. And then tomorrow I got my review for Overkill, which I actually liked a little bit more than 72 Seasons. After all, who doesn't love themselves a little Bobby Blitz in their lives? The guy still sounds the exact same as he did back in the day. It's insane.
He's the thrash equivalent of Robert Plant.
Yeah, and Dee Dee's bass, God. And Jason Bittner's drum work. There's a blast beat for a split second on here, too. But I digress there. And then, of course, Under the Radar, got a few albums. I'll just spoil what albums I'm going to talk about on Tuesday. Void Ceremony, Putrid Yell, and an underrated German legend, Holy Moses.
Yep.
So there you go with those. And of course, I also had my latest CD collection update video. I'm getting close to that 1,000 mark. I do got a couple of things coming, but you won't know that until sometime next month, probably. Meanwhile, that's all on the YouTube side. Meanwhile, you can follow me on Instagram at thrashmaniac_YT, where I've been going ham with collaboration posts I've been doing with some friends. I got a bunch coming in the next few days. Got one tomorrow, got one Monday, maybe Tuesday. I'm a busy fucker on Instagram. So there's that. And then last but certainly not least, follow and or subscribe to me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99. Because maybe if you gift a sub, you might get a very special surprise. Chat, sub for me.
It's Zev.
You ruined it! You sorry son of a bitch!
Ha
You're like
I
Plankton.
always
You
love
love
ruining
messing.
things.
You like messing things up. That you're Plankton out of all of us, and I hate you for it.
I'm evil.
But anyway, so that does it for this week. We shall return next week, but until next time, you crazy fuckers, keep your horns high, but most importantly, keep your dreams wet. Just like I do every night about my wife.
And you're staying large.
Ivan Koloff.